Let's get into some new EV announcements that have come out. There's one from, let's see, Subaru and Nissan. Which one do you want to do first?
So both of them are like, their cars have been announced, but we didn't see much of them. These are like almost the full announcements for it. I mean, I'm going to pick Subaru.
Let's talk Subaru.
I'm a little Subaru fanboy, so bias warning, although.
2023 Subaru Solterra.
Yeah.
SUV. You like it?
Like crossover-ish. To be honest, I think it looks... Do I like it? Man, you really just are asking the hard question right off the bat. I don't think I can just say yes or no on this.
Interesting.
What do you want to say? So like right off the bat, do you like it? Normally means design, right?
Yeah.
Do I like how this looks? It's fine.
It's fine. And then you got to look at like specs and price.
Yeah. So the design, I don't hate it, but I don't love it. It's like pretty typical. I feel like the Crosstrek and the Impreza has kind of been going this a little harder line route. My biggest complaint about it is I've always loved how much of a hatchback you get with like an Impreza or a Crosstrek as it goes all the way to the trunk of the car, where this has that really, really hard slant, kind of like a Honda Cross Tour, I think it's called.
Right.
Don't love that. I think you're kind of losing space.
Okay.
I wish it were a tad bigger, but again, I don't hate it. There's some design things that aren't my favorite, but I kind of think the color was kind of weird. They announced it, and also I think maybe in a black or a gray or a white, it might look a lot better.
Mm-hmm. I don't mind it.
Yeah, it's fine. I don't. Yeah, it's there. It's not a head turner by any means.
Then the specs, we've got a starting price of $37,000.
Wait. Where do you see that? Did I write that?
Oh, I have that on Car and Driver. 2023 Subaru Solterra starting at $37,000.
Wait, what? Hold on. This is I did not have a price in here, and I have a lot of price speculation. And is this real?
This is estimated. Wait, hold on. It says EST. Let me see what they mean by EST. So they think it'll start in the high 30,000s. This is not official from Subaru.
Okay.
Subaru hasn't announced pricing yet. Okay, so let's go with that.
My heart's fluttering.
Let's go with that. No pricing, but estimated somewhere in the high 30s. But the spec we know is range, right?
Let's talk range. Let's talk specs first, and then pricing. I think I have like a lot of thoughts on.
Okay, let's do that then.
Okay, so yeah. Range, I've been super pessimistic about it. I think in a previous episode, I guessed 240 miles, and I even thought that may have been on the high side. Instead, we have a single motor and a dual motor. The single motor has 329 miles of range, and the dual motor has 286 miles of range. Now, just to be clear here, this is WLTC standard, which is a standard in Japan, and generally is a little overrated versus an EPA rating. So the EPA rating will probably knock that down a bit. But we're still talking at least 300 miles of range.
Okay.
On the
higher
single
version,
motor, on the single motor,
like
version.
Lower performance. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Which blew my expectations out of the water. I mean, we've seen way too many legacy car manufacturers come in, make an EV with abysmal range.
I usually will see, here's a new EV, it's available now, it has 210 miles of range. Or I'll see, here's a new EV, it'll have 315 miles of range, it's coming out in 2024. Which is like, oh, that's a good number, but it's going to be 3 years too late, which is when we'll all expect even higher numbers.
Yeah.
So to have a new Solterra, assumingly coming out somewhat soon and with 300 miles of range is pretty good.
I'm very, very excited for that. I think that's awesome. Let's see. It says it supports DC fast charging up to 150 kilowatts. They didn't say about how long it would take to charge a battery, but we're lucky here, and this is built on the same platform as the BZ4X, which is from Toyota, because they partnered with this.
Got it.
They look very similar. BZ4X and Toyota claim that will charge 30 minutes to 80% capacity. So, I mean, we're looking at a pretty standard
about a 70 kilowatt hour battery.
If you know, the network actually turns on. So that's always something you have to think about.
That's a question.
Yeah. We have Subaru talking about their X mode, which is a pretty standard company-wide thing. It's an all-wheel drive control system. And, you know, Subaru is known for their all-wheel drive.
Well, that'll only be in the dual motor one.
I'm assuming so. I mean, it didn't specifically say that, but I can only imagine.
Okay.
So when it comes to, I have like two main gripes or questions, I guess, that aren't answered quite here. Number one is price. If we're pricing this out, 40,000 feels like kind of the sweet spot of, now that we're seeing the Model 3 creep up in price to like 46. If we're talking about a car kind of similar to it. I think the Solterra is a little bigger, clearly does not have the performance that the Model 3 does, but $6,000 cheaper, and most likely will have the tax break because it's a new company doing EVs. That seems pretty awesome. And similar range. I mean, like the main thing we're talking here is range, right?
Yeah,
when we're
range.
comparing. I think 40,000 could get quite a few people to make the choice if they're between a Model 3 and a Solterra.
Okay.
The thing is like Subaru is very well priced for a lot of their cars. At least I think so. And I do think a lot of people think so. I bought my Impreza in 2013 for 21, all-wheel drive, great car. Crosstreks and Foresters and stuff kind of start around like 26, which is great pricing. So 40,000 is a big jump there. If this could somehow be at 35,000, I'll buy it. I will 100% buy it
35.
if this is at 35,000.
35, you're in.
I don't think it will.
Well, that would be the starting base price probably at best.
Yes, and I kind of wonder price-wise on which model will be which, but I'm worried though that this will be closer to like 45, and then I think they will only get sales for Subaru fans. You are not going to have the person going to it over the Model 3 when you're at the same price.
Yeah, and maybe this is people cross-shopping. I don't know if it'll be Model 3 or Model Y more. I guess crossover is Model Y, which is a little more pricey. But when you're at the same price as Model Y, you have to offer somewhat the same stuff to be considered. If you're priced above Model Y, you have to be better at something, which seems like just the Subaru things and being a Subaru and having like maybe more range, or sorry, maybe more storage or Crosstrek type features.
Model Y, well, the hard thing is if you compare it to Model Y because it's a crossover, this is like this feels like at least by the pictures, I haven't seen full size, but it looks like the lower end of like a size of a crossover, whereas like Model Y feels like it's closer to like compact SUV, and it's this really, really confusing. But Model Y is 58 starting, I think. So like, no way Solterra's that. So I kind of want to compare it to Model 3 more, but yeah, you do get some more room probably than a Model 3.
Yeah,
it's in a weird spot.
So if you undercut it, you just got to do a couple things as well. Obviously, it doesn't have the supercharger network, but that's an advantage that they can take advantage of.
If you are cross-shopping Model Y and Solterra, I think Solterra is going to have a great chance, even at 45, to, if you are not a Tesla fan or you're not a Subaru fan, you are just looking for an EV around that size, I think it will split it pretty well, which is all companies need to do now is split the price, split the difference for Tesla to that. If you're looking for a Model 3 or Solterra, I think the Solterra has to be 35 to 40 to really sway the Model 3 buyer over to that for saving enough money.
Let's make a bet. Over, under. Would you take over or under, or sorry, would you guess that the Solterra's announced price for the base model will be over or under 39?
Over.
Okay. I'll take that bet.
You'll go under?
I'm hoping I'm wrong, or I'm hoping I'm right and it is under, but I don't know.
Now, see, if we really want to make this bet interesting, if I win, you buy me a Solterra, and if I lose, I'll buy myself a Solterra, because that sounds like a good price.
That sounds like a good bet. I don't know if I'm going to agree to it right now, but it's a solid bet.
But so now my next big thing kind of loops into pricing, and that is I'm confused at what is going to be the more expensive version of this. What is going to be the base? Because in every single EV, range is like the number one priority, right?
Yep.
Now, Subaru is known for all-wheel drive. Their thing is that essentially every car comes with all-wheel drive, super great price point for it. You go to Colorado and like 90% of the cars in the shopping mall parking lot are going to be a Subaru because of the all-wheel drive.
Yeah, driving in snow, all that sort of stuff.
So if you are now buying a Subaru EV, what is your choice? Are you prioritizing all-wheel drive or are you prioritizing range? Because the all-wheel drive is about 50 miles less range, according to WLTC standard.
The single motor will be cheaper. The single motor with longer range will be cheaper, and the extra motor, which costs a lot more, which has better performance but has all-wheel drive, will be more expensive despite lower range.
Real quick, what you're saying is correct, but like the single motor has a higher horsepower per motor. Whereas the dual motor, they are technically, each motor is less performance, but
total's larger.
Exactly.
Definitely. I believe that base model will be the single motor front wheel drive with a longer range because that gets you longer range. The all-wheel drive one will cost more. It will have better performance because of the higher overall power and all-wheel drive, but it will have slightly less range.
Interesting. Man, if single motor could be 35 and dual motor could be 40, that would be really awesome.
Yeah.
Also, dual motor performance though is not going to be anything close to a Model 3.
No.
Like I hope we're all on the same page that we're not comparing it like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited.
Well, the other one that I'm less excited about, but it exists, so I'm happy about it.
I think it's important still.
Yeah. Is Nissan's upcoming electric SUV.
Mm-hmm.
So Nissan is able to claim that they are a leader in the EV space because of how long the Leaf has been around. Sure,
Correct.
I'll give you that. So now in 2023, they're going to drop what's called the Ariya, Ariya. It'll start at 47, and it will have did they say the range? You can see the pictures, about 300 miles of range. So yeah, 300 miles of range for $47K. You can go up in performance and also up in price. There's a $60K option with 265 miles of range, but a little more power. It looks fine.
Okay, if you were already buying a Nissan Rogue, this looks like a Nissan. You know what this looks like. It looks like an EV Nissan, which is fine. I don't like it.
You've brought up pricing of Subarus in the past. This is an expensive Nissan. $60K for a Nissan is a big ask.
Yeah, can I look up what a Nissan Rogue is?
Sure.
Yeah, like a Nissan Rogue starts at 26.
Yeah.
And I believe, I just want to make sure I'm on the...
The Murano's 32, the Rogue is 26. It's not, or 24 to 26. Like there's not a lot of brand new $60,000 Nissans.
Yeah,
and this will start at 47, which is, still pretty premium for a Nissan.
Yeah.
The Leaf, if I talk about the Leaf anymore, I'll get sad. But like they did hop on that early, and lots of people have Leafs because they don't have long commutes. It had like a 100-mile range at best, and it was like, all right, you can drive this as your commuter car back and forth and like have a totally good time, never pay for gas again. Great. But when we talk about like the inspiring, like let's replace every car on the road with an electric version, you need a couple more versions than just a Leaf. So this is something else. They're accepting deposits. I don't know if this is going to start getting cross-shopped with Model Y. It's 47, so it's cheaper.
Yeah, there are two main things I have out of this. One's good, one's makes no sense.
Okay.
$47,000 for this. By pictures, this looks bigger than like a Solterra, so I think this is a direct competitor to the Model Y.
Yeah.
300 miles of range is also meant at $10,000 cheaper. They're going to sway some people.
Okay. Yeah.
I think that's really cool. Again, really happy that we see another 300-mile range. I'm so glad we're actually seeing these legacy car manufacturers putting real miles on their range. The thing I don't get is who on earth wants a performance Nissan Rogue EV, essentially. I don't get why you'd spend an extra like $15K to get the performance version of
Interesting.
this. It doesn't look like a sporty car. It doesn't look like something that you're going to go drag race or even just like...
I guess that's the thing about EVs is they all naturally are able to offer performance and instant torque.
And like the base model will have that.
Yeah, true.
Like enough for what you need. So in normal everyday driving, like this EV thing, the best thing about it is merging onto a highway. Like you don't feel stuck.
Yeah.
But the base model will have that. Like it'll feel better than a regular Nissan Rogue, which by the way, if you haven't noticed, I'm comparing the Rogue to this thing because they look very similar. I just don't get why you'd pay an extra $15,000 for this like performance version of this.
There's a lot of questions that we didn't think there were like solutions without a problem. Like who wants a crossover Mustang EV? But here we are. And like this might be another one of those where we're like looking over the obvious answer of like, oh yeah, I've always wanted like a faster, like I love my Nissan and I love the UI for some reason, but I really wanted an EV version with more storage. Like here we are.
Yeah.
I don't know. It could be a real
There
thing.
are Nissans that people mod and like to do stuff. It's just, as far as I know, it's not the Rogue.
It's a smaller group.
If you have a modded Nissan Rogue, send us some videos or pictures of it because I'd love to see it, but I'm not really sure that those really exist. But like, good point here, $10,000 cheaper than a Model Y for the people who don't care about the Model Y performance and who are able to, not have to use the Tesla supercharging network.
Right.
$10,000 is a big price difference. So
we'll see. It's a next year car.
So that's it for EVs. Thanks for sticking along with our rambling. I thought all of those were pretty fun, pretty interesting, or even pretty important.
The EV podcast.
Exactly. Wave. Can we label this one where the VE and Wave is
switch the
backwards?
EV? Yeah, switch the EV. Now it's the Waveform
We'll
podcast.
do it.
The Waveform podcast.
We can do that for April Fools or something. Thanks for watching this clip. on the Wave EV podcast. We're gonna have Tim mock that up, put it right here for this podcast outro clip. And if you like it, you're gonna hit that like button.
Fair. Welcome to the podcast of EV enthusiasts all around the world.
Exactly.
There it is. We just rebranded, just like that.
Subscribe.
Just like an arena. Just like immediately like that.
Oh, yeah.
Easy. Hit subscribe.